Okay, welcome back for round 3. So I've reset all of the dials, I've refreshed all the tokens, and we're ready to go with round 3. So we went with our Republic stand-ins for round 2, which means we're going to go to the other side and we're going to use our CIS stand-ins for round 3 first. They get first turn. Now, my decision between the 2 Nebula MBs and our command ship, the assault frigate, I have to decide what I'm going to do. Now, this Nebula MB is kind of in a tough spot because it's right in face to face with this Raider, which isn't great, but if it is even able to move, it's going to end up with a close shot from the Victory, which isn't great. This ship already has a close range shot from the Victory. We know it's going to be 6 dice going into our front, where we have no shields. That's a shot that could take out this Nebula B, so that's not good. The assault frigate is in relatively good shelf. It's good shape. It's fully healthy. You know, this Raider isn't going to pose too much of a problem just yet. So I want to go with this Nebulon and see if we can do something. First, get our shot off into the Victory before the Victory kills us, but also see if we can get into a position where the Victory isn't going to be able to do as much damage to us. So we do have a navigate command, which we're going to use. We already have a navigate token anyways, so we're going to use the command in order to get that extra yaw and see if that's going to help us at all. But first we have to take our shots. Now we actually do have a couple of shots here. We don't have a shot on the Raider because it is, I believe, I shouldn't say that. Oh, I actually do have a shot. It's a medium range shot from the side, blue and red, but it is obstructed. We're going to lose 1 dice, so that's going to be a little tough. But we're double arced on this interceptor, so we could take 2 flak shots. And these Nebula Bs have actually 2 blue flak, which is good flak. And obviously we have the front shot on the Victory. I'm definitely going to take the front shot on the Victory, and then I think I'm going to take 1 flak shot from this side into the interceptor. So we're going to take that front shot first into the Victory, and there's our red dice for us. We got nothing. We got 2 blanks and an accuracy, very accurate nothing. So that's unfortunate. Now, when you play a full game, you'll have some upgrades, so hopefully you can fix some dice and things like that, but we have none of that right now. So now we're going to take our flak shot onto the interceptors. We have 2 blues. So we actually got 1, so they're going to lose 1 hull over here. Now we have to try and move. And if we stay at speed 2, we're definitely going to end up, we're going to probably crash into the Victory and end up with that big front shot anyways. So we're going to go up to speed 3 and hope that we can get into a position now. We can take an extra click here if we need to. So we could take an extra click on the 1, which we wouldn't usually have. So I think I'm going to do this. We may end up hitting that asteroid, but we're going to lock this in. You can see that I'm hovering here. In a tournament game, you would be moving ships in order to get this and lock it in. Casual games, and in this game, I'm going to get as close as I possibly can just to keep things moving. And we did avoid that asteroid. We did end up double arced with the side and the back, but that's better than taking the one shot from the front. And he can't shoot at our front, which has no shields, so that's good as well. So there's the Nebulon B's activation. So now we have to decide, what are we going to activate first? On our Republic side, we could take that victory and see how much damage we can do to the Nebulon B here. The problem being is that's going to get us closer to the assault frigate, which we might not want to do. This raider, I think, is probably going to be our choice, because this raider, it's going to take a front shot from the Nebulon B, which is possibly going to hurt. But I think what we can do is, we're already at speed 3. We should be able to get onto the other side of the Nebulon B. So that's what we're going to try and do. And we're also going to get our shot on the Nebulon B. And we have a concentrate fire command. So the nice thing about the one command ships is you can just take whatever you think is going to work best for you. So we have the concentrate fire command. We're going to use that. We have a couple of shots here. So we have the Nebulon B shot, which we're going to take. But we also have flak out the rear on this Z95, and we have flak out the side on this Z95. I will take the shot on the Nebulon B first. It's 2 blue and 2 black. Now we're going to remember that we have the concentrate fire. You don't have to add the dice right away, and you only get the concentrate fire on one shot. But you can decide after you've rolled your initial pool. So I'm going to roll my initial pool. If the initial pool is terrible, maybe I hold it off and I add an extra dice to the flak of the Z95 and try and kill the Z95. But hopefully we're going to get decent dice here. So we did okay. It's not a great shot. We do have an accuracy, and we have 2 hits. Now I can add either a blue or a black dice. The black dice is more bursty, but it does have the blank sides. The blue has paint on every side, so you're always going to get something with the blue, and so we could get another accuracy with it. Now, because the Nebulon B, and this is something that you're going to have to learn as you progress through the game, I'm looking at the defense tokens for the Nebulon B. I know it has an evade, which is going to be useless to it, but it has 2 braces. So right now my accuracy is worthless anyways, because even if I accuracied its brace, it's going to be useless. If I were to get another accuracy, I could accuracy both braces and get 2 guaranteed damage to the front of the Nebulon B. Whereas if I were to roll another black, the best I could do would be to get a hit crit, a double side on that, and then it would be able to brace it down to 2. So if I roll a blue dice, I am guaranteed getting 2 damage on the Nebulon B, and I'll try and explain that quickly. If I get a hit, we'll have 3 damage. I can't accuracy anything, but they can only brace that down to 2. Same with the crit. If I were to get the accuracy, I have now 2 accuracies and 2 hits. I can accuracy both braces. They can't brace. With the black, there's no other accuracy. If I were to get 1 damage, fine, then it would go down to 2. But even if I got the double damage, it would go down to 2. But if I got the blank, they would be able to brace it down to 1. So there's a chance with the black being worse. The blue, I can't get worse. I actually can't get better in this case either. I got the hit, so they would be able to brace. they would brace it down to 2 and take 2 damage. So that's what they're going to do. And these are the kinds of things, you know, I kind of saw that right away because I'm used to this. That's something that you're going to have to get used to during the game, is really paying attention to what your opponent is going to do to your shot. Okay, so we've done that shot. Now we're going to take our flak shot. The Raider has black flak, which is close range, but it's well within close range. This Z95 has 3 health. The most we could do to it is 2, bringing it down to 1. This Z95 has 1 health. We could end up wasting a damage by shooting at this one, but my theory, and again, this is a personal theory, this isn't necessarily a rule or anything. My thought is, if you have a chance to kill something, kill it. So I would rather waste a damage and kill something than do a couple of damage to something and it's still being alive and hurting other things. I'm now eliminating that unit from any problems. So I did get 2 hits. I actually got a hit and a hit crit, but crits do not count against other squadrons. So it's 2 damage. This squadron is dead. And so I prefer that over the alternative of, you know, this one Z95 versus 2 interceptors. I feel pretty good about my 2 interceptors against that Z95. Whereas if they had 2 Z95s, I'd be worried about losing at least one of the interceptors. So now we have to move. We're going speed 3. Now I'm actually going to come over to the other side of the board because it's going to be a little bit easier because we're going to be jumping quite a ways. So I have no clicks on the first segment, and I have 2 clicks here that I can do whatever I want to with. So I could do something like this, which might get us out of the way. Do this. So I'm pretty sure this is going to work. Now what I'm going to do here, I have a tool here in order to be able to, that helps me mark ships. You will get, if you're familiar with Legion, you get the L-shaped token. You can use those in order to mark the ships. Now I'm doing this because it's going to be a close movement, so you want to be as accurate as you possibly can. We're going to move, and then we're going to try and place that Nebulon B back where it was. If the Nebulon B doesn't fit, then we're going to have to back off. So the Nebulon B is going to fit just fine. So now we can, I left the movement tool down because if we had to back up, I needed to have it placed properly based on where the ship was. So now the Nebulon B is going to go right back in here and be all set. This Raider is now activated. We are now going to activate on this side, so we have a choice between this Nebulon B and our command ship. Now the command ship has quite a few options for it. It has a medium length shot on the command ship, although it will be obstructed. It has a medium range shot on this Raider, but that is also an obstructed shot from this asteroid. And we have a long range shot on this Raider, and if we actually have a shot on its rear, which would be unobstructed. So because of the obstructions, we basically have 3 shots on any of the ships. This one would be 3 red. These 2 I could decide to eliminate either the blue or one of the reds, and usually it would be one of the reds. So we're going to go with the command ship first, because the command ship has some good shots. We want to do as much damage to this raider as possible before it starts looping around and probably trying to get into our backside. And then we will probably start doing some damage to the Victory, because this guy down here, he seems to be a little out of position now. Now I could also take a flak shot on the interceptor, but I think our value is going to be shooting ships. So we're going to shoot at the raider first. Need to reveal our command first. It has a concentrate fire. Now I'm going to save that for a good shot. So we're going to roll against the raider first, and if we have a chance to kill it, we're going to use the concentrate fire. If we don't, we might save it to when we shoot the Victory. So I would usually have 3 red and a blue here for medium range. Because of the obstruction, I need to lose a dice. I'm going to lose a red dice because the red dice has the blanks. Remember, blues always have paint. There's always something positive coming from a blue. You have a little bit of a burst possibility with the red. So there are rare occasions where you just want to try and kill something and you want that burst. But usually I'm eliminating a red first from my pool. Okay, so we get 3 damage coming into the front. Again, we're going to think about the tokens over there. So it has 2 evades and the brace. I'm not going to worry too much about the evades. It's going to, the evade at medium range, they're going to make us re-roll something. You know, that's not great, but they're going to be able to do that because we have no accuracies. The brace, they'll be able to cut it in half. I'm going to do our concentrate fire, and we're going to add a blue into the pool. If we get an accuracy, that's going to help a little bit. And so we did get the accuracy. The accuracy, we're going to accuracy their brace, so they cannot brace now. They have to do the 3 damage, but they do have an evade. So remember what we did the last time with an evade. The red could potentially get worse for us. But with the blue, the accuracies, if we roll a blue, if our opponent rolls the blue with the accuracy now after an evade, that's going to count as a blank. We didn't get it. They got the crit. We already had a crit in the pool anyways, so that's not that big a deal. So so we spent the evade, but now we have to take 3 damage. And this is going to be interesting. So this is where we need to remember, so we have our commander. We have Commander Dodonna here. So Dodonna, his card says, before an enemy ship is dealt face-up damage, look at the top 4 cards of the damaged deck and place 1 on the top of the deck and discard the others. So that means my opponent, I do want to flip their evade. They have no shields in the front, and they have no way to move it. They can't use their brace, so they're taking 3 damage. The first one's going to be a crit. What we're going to do with Dodonna is flip over the top 4 cards. You won't be able to read these, but I will let you know. And then, as the opponent, I get to pick whichever of these 4 cards is going to be the most beneficial to me. I have one where capacitor failure. If a hull zone has no remaining shields, they can't recover the shields. You know, that's pretty bad. They wouldn't be able to recover it. But it's a small ship. They probably aren't going to be running much engineering, so I'm not going to worry about that. I got structural damage. That's pretty good. So that's deal 1 extra face down damage card to the ship and flip this card face down. So structural damage works as 2 damage. So that's pretty good. We might take that. Power failure, your engineering value is reduced in half its value rounded down. Again, for a small ship, that's not a terrible crit to get. And then ruptured engine. If you execute a maneuver, if the speed on your dial is greater than 1, suffer 1 damage. That's good. This ship is going speed 4. There's no way to get down to speed 2. So that's like an extra damage after it activates. So what we're going to do now, so we've eliminated these 2. Now you would pick the one that you wanted. I'm just going to demonstrate what we're doing. This ship is 4 hull. We got 3 through. So we have 1 here plus 2 face down. Unlike X-Wing, you take a face up for every crit. In Armada, you only take 1 crit. No matter how many you roll, you only take 1. So I have 2, 3. I only need 1 more to kill it. It's going to have 1 more by the end of the turn. Structural damage does it now, though. Ruptured engine lets it do its activation, get in whatever it wants, and then it's going to die after it moves because it's going to be going faster than 1. So I'm going to eliminate that one. We're going to discard those. We take structural damage. We add an extra damage. Flip that over. 4 damage. This ship has been eliminated from the game. So this ship is now gone. Okay, and we have used our concentrate fire command. So that worked out well for the CIS side. Obviously didn't work out very well for our Republic. So now we're going to take our shot on the Victory. We're going to do 2 red and a blue. Remember, it's obstructed, so we're going to lose 1 dice. I'm going to lose the red. We get 2, so there's 2 coming into the Victory. The Victory does have a brace, and it has 2 redirects. What the Republic side would be thinking at this point is I still have the Nebulon B throwing 3 red dice at me. And I might want to save my brace for when the Nebulon B is going. It might be worse. You know, bracing 1 damage isn't a very efficient use of your brace. Your brace, you really want to take that really big shot and cut it in half. Cutting a shot of 2 in half with other shots still coming in can be risky. So we're just going to redirect. Those 2 are going to the front, so I can redirect shots to either side. This Nebulon B is already gone, so I'm not worried about them shooting at this side. So I'm actually going to take both damage to this far side into the shields. So now we still have full damage in the front, full shields in the front, and full shields on the side. Alright? And now we need to move our assault frigate command ship. Our munificent stand-in. It is going speed 2, and we're just going to slowly wrap around the... This is similar to the munificent in that it has good front and sides. Now with the munificent, I think its front is slightly stronger than its sides, where the assault frigate, its sides are slightly stronger than its front. But we're going to make sure we keep that side going so that we can get those shots on the command ship over here. Okay, so that ship is now gone. Now this raider over here has been eliminated from the game, so there's nothing more to do over here. So we only have our Victory. Victory has an engineering command. Now, it has engineering. We're at 4 engineering. We did lose a couple of shields, so we're going to use our engineering command. For engineering, you can spend 1 point to move a shield from one hull zone to another. You can use 2 engineering points to regenerate one shield, or you can use 3 engineering points to discard a damage card. We have no damage cards, but we have lost 2 shields. We have 4 engineering, so we're going to use all 4 and regenerate those 2 shields, and now we're back up to full health. For its shots, we have some options. We do, so we have, it's a long range shot onto that Nebulon B. For measuring range, you go cardboard to cardboard. The closest piece of cardboard of that arc that you want to shoot out of to the closest piece of cardboard of the arc that you're shooting at. And for me, that it's close, but it is going to be a long range shot. So we would not get those 3 blues. Now, if that ship was really close to death, I might take that anyways. At this point, it's highly unlikely with 3 reds that I would be able to kill the Nebulon B. I do have a full frontal unobstructed shot into the side of the command ship over here, our munificent stand-in, the assault frigate. We also have obviously close range from the side and from the rear. So I actually have this Nebulon B double arced. There's a fair chance that I could either kill it or come close to killing it and at least get some damage on it. Now, it does have the double braces, so probably not. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stronger of the 2 side shots, the stronger of the 2 of these shots. So I'm going to take the side into the side of this guy anyways. Well, see, now I'm thinking, so I could shoot from the side and probably into the front of the assault frigate. Problem being is it's obstructed here, so we're going to lose 1 dice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the full shot from front into the side here. If somehow I do a ton of damage to this guy, then maybe I take that shot and weaken it further. Otherwise, I'm probably going to take the shot into the Nebulon B. So here we go. So 3 blue and 3 red into the side of the assault frigate here. Okay, so we have 2 blanks, a hit, a critical, and an accuracy. The assault frigate has 3 different defense tokens, so that our accuracy is going to help us here. They have an evade, and at this point, I believe we are at close range. Yes, we're at close range. Their evade does nothing anyways. They have a brace. They could cut our 3 down to 2, and they have a redirect, which would let them put damage to another hull zone. I think I want to do as much damage as I possibly can, so I'm going to accuracy their brace. They have to take 3 damage, so they'll take it. They'll use their redirect, and they're going to take 2 to the rear, and that's now down to 0, and we'll take 1 to the side that they shot at. And now we didn't do a tremendous amount of damage here, so we're going to shoot at the Nebulon B from the side. It's going to be 2 reds and a blue. Two reds and a blue into the side of the Nebulon. Got 3 damage. This Nebulon has, the evade does nothing. It can brace it. Because it's not going to take another shot, we will brace it down to 2. We will take 1 damage to the side because that's all the shields we have. Now when we brace 3 down to 2, you always keep the crit. The crit stays. When you half 3 down to 2, you can't say, well, no, the crit's going away and I'll take the 2 damage. No, the crit has to stay. 1 damage goes, so we have 2 with a crit. So we've taken 1 to the shields. Now we have to take 1 crit. Now, this commander, we're going to see what his ability is in a second. But he doesn't allow, he doesn't give any ability to, like to Donna, in terms of the damage cards. So we're just going to flip over the first one. And he got a structural damage, so he's going to actually take 2. There are a fair number of structural damage cards in here. So we have 2 damage now to this Nebulon B, so I'm going to go over to the other side to make sure. So we placed those. They had spent a brace. We had spent a redirect over here. And now the victory has to go. And now we're going to see the ability of the commander. So this commander, Admiral Piet, says when a friendly ship spends only a command token to resolve a command, you can exhaust this card. So you can only use this for 1 ship each turn. Exhausts at this point always refresh between rounds. So we're not going to worry about the new cards that are going to have a cost to refresh. He will refresh between rounds. If I do, the ship resolves the command as if it had spent a dial of the same type instead. So what we're going to do is, he has a navigate token. We're going to do that. We're going to exhaust Piet and use that navigate token and use it like a command. This is something similar to the ability that Bail Organa's. Bail's going to work differently, but he's going to give you the extra command too. Now what we're going to do, what I want is I want the extra click. I'm not so worried about speeding up at this point. I want to keep that front on the command ship over here. So we're taking 2 clicks. Now I am going to hit this squadron. So, and I also hit the station. I have no damage cards in this ship, so that's not going to heal anything. Now I hit this squadron. What happens now, whenever you overlap a squadron, your opponent gets to place that squadron anywhere they want, and it has to be touching the base of the ship. So I could place it back here, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it here because I want it to be engaged with my interceptor here. It could be a little bit dangerous, but we're going to go with that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the other side. We have 1 more ship to activate. We have this Nebulon B to activate. It has a squadron command. Now, I was fortunate that I moved him actually, because I am not going to be able to activate that squadron with the ship now, because it is now out of range of this Nebulon. So I can only activate this squadron, which I'm not going to do, and I'll explain why. I am going to take the token for that squadron. Because I am first player this round, after this ship activates, I'm going to be able to activate both of my squadrons anyways, so I'm not going to get a lot of benefit. Because I'm engaged with both of these squadrons, even if I kill one of them, I'm not going to be able to move. So I'm not going to get any benefit from activating him now with the Nebulon B, whereas if I keep the token, I could get a benefit next turn if he survives the shots from these 2. Now, it looks, so I have a double arc, barely, but I do have a double arc on the rear of the Victory. I do need to measure range, make sure that it's, and it is plenty of range. So I have medium range on the rear of the Victory from both arcs. Now, I also have a double arc in my rear and my side to the back of the Raider. But he's fully shielded in the back. I'd rather start doing some damage to the Victory. So we're going to take the first shot. I'm going to take 3 red into the rear of the Victory. So not great, but not terrible. We did get an accuracy, and we got a blank and a double. So we kind of got the whole range of the red dice there. We got one that was bursty, one that was nothing. Now with the Victory, so they've already spent a redirect, but they have the brace. They might use the brace on this one, because I have only 2 dice coming in for the next shot. They might use the brace. But if they use the redirect, they're going to put it on a side, and I'm not going to be able to work down those shields. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to accuracy their redirect and force them to use the brace if they want to. Now I have no crits here, but do they want to take that damage to hull or not? So I accuracy the green redirect. They can still use the red, but then it gets discarded. So now it's me, which is a little bit odd, but so what would I do here? Would I brace? I have a chance that they're gonna get another 2 damage into the same hull zone the next turn. Do I want to brace it and save myself, or do I risk end up losing it? Probably. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna brace it down to 1. I'm not gonna risk losing that other redirect. I'm not gonna lose the other redirect in order to move the one around. I'm just gonna take it to the rear and hope that this next shot isn't gonna be too bad. Alright, so now the Nebulon B, the next shot, it has 2 dice out the side. It's 1 red and 1 blue. And we got double accuracies. Very accurate, nothing. So we got nothing there. And now the Nebulon B is going to move. Now we are going at speed 2 with this Nebulon B. But we do have a navigate token, which we're going to use because we want to go down to speed 1. Now we don't gain any clicks because of the token, but we can change our speed. So I'm going to go down to speed 1. The reason being, the Victory's going slow. I want to get right in its rear and hopefully start doing some damage on it. So there we go. Alright, all ships have activated. So now it's Squadrons. The CIS side went first this round, so its Squadrons get to go first. We only have 2 Squadrons left for this side. So we're going to activate this one. We get to activate both of them. We're going to shoot at that interceptor. And we did 1 damage. We got a critical and accuracy. Neither of those help against a generic squadron. The accuracy could help against an ace, but we got 1 damage. So this squadron is now down to 1. And then this squadron, both of these squadrons are at full health. I will go after this one. It doesn't matter too much. So we did get a double, a blank, and an accuracy. So it's going to take 2 damage. Now we'll go over to a Republic side. Now, we actually have 3 squadrons left. The CIS side has done everything. So we're going to technically we're activating 2 and then another 1, but it doesn't really matter. We get to activate all 3 of them now. Activate this one. We're going to shoot 4 blues at that Z95. And he only got 1 damage. 1 damage and 3 criticals. The criticals don't matter. So 1 damage to him. Now, this guy... So, just to be clear, I'm ignoring the counter keyword on the interceptors. When this Z95 shot at him in a real game between Empire and Rebels, this interceptor would be able to shoot 2 dice back. I'm not doing that for balance purposes here. The Torrent, which this is standing in for, has an escort ability that you're paying for, that you're not really using in a learn to play game. So just like that, I'm getting an ability that I'm not paying for, that I'm paying for, but I'm not going to use. So I'm not going to use the counter 2. So we're going to shoot, and we got 3. Now, just for example purposes, I didn't get this in before, but I want to do it. We're going to say we got 2 accuracies and 2 hits. That's going to bring him down to 1. Because both these squadrons are engaged with this squadron, we have Swarm. Swarm, while attacking a squadron that is engaged with another squadron, you can re-roll a die. So, using this roll that I had, I'm going to re-roll one of those accuracies and still get an accuracy. So we ended up getting 2. So that was an example. You know, in reality he died, but I wanted to show the Swarm. Now we have our other interceptor who is going to make his attack. And he got 2 more, so this Z95 is gone. And that's the end of the turn. So once again, I will reset the dials, reset the board, and we will come back for turn number 4. So I'll reset that right now. Turn 4. Next time you come back, we'll do turn 4. So things are starting to happen. We've lost a ship on the board. The CIS side has lost more squadrons. We have more of our squadrons still going on this side, but we've lost a ship on this side. So, and one of our raiders is kind of getting out of the fight. So we'll see what happens. The Republic side here does get to go first for round 4. So thank you very much. Again, please like, subscribe, keep armadaing, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.